All right, guys, welcome back to another Norada Capital FAQ webinar. I'm Nathan Hall, one of the advisors here with Norada Capital Management. Obviously, we have Marco Santarelli along with us. Today, we're excited to really, kind of the theme today is going to be about one of the business sectors, I guess you could call it, that we invest in. They're mastermind educational businesses. And we get a lot of questions on these quite often about how they work, how they operate. Marco is very passionate about those. I guess without further ado, Marco, welcome aboard.
Yeah, it's great doing another one of these frequently asked question webinars with you. And you're right, we do get, a lot of questions about some of the stuff that we're doing, and we're growing and scaling so fast in some of these areas that it's worth, talking about it on a webinar like this.
Yeah, 100% agree with you. And I would say that would you say right now, as far as, growth and scalability underneath Norada Capital Management, the different businesses that you are equity owner and partner in, these are one of the fastest growing right now?
Yeah, so I refer to it as educational masterminds. It's kind of a broad term, but masterminds for short. This is definitely the fastest growing part of our portfolio. And it is also the most lucrative by far part of our portfolio. And so a lot of our time and energy right now is going into growing and scaling, hence funding these particular areas. And so maybe I could break it down, Nate, just to high level talk about the three different. Okay, so there's what I'll just refer to as three different masterminds within Norada Capital's portfolio. There's Power Room, which is a traditional mastermind, and then the other two, which we refer to as Money Is and Think Realty. Those are very specific educational-based masterminds. So Power Room, a more traditional high-end 5-star mastermind, is very much what Napoleon Hill wrote about in his world-famous book, Think and Grow Rich, which was written, I believe in the 1940s, or came out in the 1940s. And it's all about how do the, uber wealthy and the, multimillionaires and billionaires of the time, become that way. And one of the things they did is they formed a mastermind, which was a group of like-minded individuals. It could be a small group or a relatively large group that met on a regular basis, whether it's weekly, monthly, quarterly. A lot of masterminds will meet quarterly or monthly, depending on how large or small it is, how close in proximity the people are, the scope of the mastermind, etc. But the idea is that like-minded people get together to help themselves grow, whether professionally, personally, financially, or a combination thereof. And that's what Power Room is all about. We have a great group of people. We're not quite at our target membership of 200 people, but we're all like-minded people. We're entrepreneurs, leaders, investors in different asset classes, from real estate on up or down or sideways, wherever you want to call it. But we're all investors. We want to grow personally, spiritually, professionally, and financially. And so we get together quarterly for a 2.5 day event where we bring in top-notch, high-quality speakers that provide incredible content to grow and learn from. And that's half of it. The content is half of it. The other half of it is the community, the networking, the people you get to know, meet, become friends with, or business partners with, or investment partners with. So a lot of deals and deal flow comes out of these mastermind events. And there's different ones all around the country. They range from several $1,000s a year to, if you look at guys like Tony Robbins, or, Brendan Burchard or Dean Graziosi or whatnot, they'll have $50,000, $100,000 masterminds per year. A lot of them float around the $15,000, $20,000, $25,000, and sometimes $30,000, membership per year. So for Power Room, it's a very lucrative business model. There's tons of value because you have content community, and it's an annual membership fee of $25,000 right now. I've been in many masterminds, multiple masterminds simultaneously over the years, 7+ years, maybe as many as 10. And I've always gotten my money's worth from them. I've always had, opportunities and growth and deals that have come out of it that, made me a profit. So the $25,000 was an investment, not an expense. but
Right.
that's Power Room. So that's our kind of our high-end 5-star quarterly mastermind that we have and had running for 3 years now.
Yeah.
So any
And
questions about that?
I'm sorry, one more time.
No, I was going to ask you if you had any questions about that, but
Yeah,
you
I
had
think
one anyway.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head. I mean, my first question was, what's your typical investor, owner, entrepreneur inside that, which you already answered. So it sounds like really it's open to anyone. However, one piece of it was, am I guessing correctly? It's invite only, like you come to the event and then it's invite
Yeah,
or
Nate, that's a really good question. So we don't really market or advertise Power Room, at least not directly with paid ads and whatnot.
Mhm.
A lot of the membership growth has come from members referring other people that they know, whether they're friends, acquaintances, or other people in their industry. So the membership brings in like-minded individuals because they feel that they're a good addition to the group and they can provide value. They can be a valuable member of
Mhm.
Power Room. So that's how it grows. It grows somewhat organically, but it's almost always through our own network, our members' network of networks that people come in. And there's an application process. So if you go to the website to learn more, we're actually rebuilding the website. It's still good, but we're going to have a better one. So it's powerroom.com. So if you went to powerroom.com, there's an application button on there. You fill out a form. It asks you, a handful of questions about, who you are and whatnot. It's not extensive, but one of our team members will reach out to you and give you kind of a breakdown of what it is, who it's for, what to expect, and just to make sure that you feel it's a fit for us. Well, it's a fit for you, and you are a good fit for us. So there's kind of like an application and screening process. We just don't let anybody in. We want to make sure that they're going to be good members and additions to the group. But that's how it works.
Love it. Love it. Okay, excellent. And a lot of times investors that come on board here at Norada Capital are wondering, okay, what's my money working towards, right? And that's one of these companies that we're growing, expanding. I guess to continue on with the theme of networking groups or mastermind groups Education, I'd love to talk more about Think Realty and Money Is. These are vastly popular groups. They're growing. I think it would be probably good to start at the top, right? And talk about maybe the Aspire Tour and how that lends itself into some of these other groups that we're equity owner and partner in.
Yeah, you actually framed it well, because I was literally going to say, if you didn't say it first, that I could spend an hour talking about that one question because there's so much going on. So I'll try and keep it as high level as possible for now. And then, if someone really wants to get into the weeds and learn more, then my suggestion is just to talk to you or whoever their investment counselor is here. Yep. To expand on that. But yeah, we're putting a lot of time and energy, and that's where a lot of our growth and focus is right now, just because these ventures are gaining so much traction and they're growing so fast, and we're reaching so many people that not only is it incredibly exciting, but we see the profitability of what we're doing materializing and exceeding our pro forma projections for the next 12 and even 24 months. So it's very, very exciting. So let me kind of break it down again, like I did with Power Room, kind of a high level, big picture explanation. So we have these two, I call them masterminds as well, but it's not like the traditional mastermind that Power Room is. We refer to them as masterminds because they are made up of like-minded people who want to learn from all the value and the content we're providing through our events and through the masterminds themselves, and the community that comes along with it, because we do have live events that are tied in with it. And I'll explain that a little bit in more detail here in a moment. So there's the Money Is and the Think Realty Mastermind. The Money Is Mastermind, which is really the third step in a sequence of events, is about how to make money, grow your money and protect your money, and protect it in ways, not necessarily from an asset protection perspective, but protect it from taxes, meaning deferring and eliminating taxes in very strategic ways that are legal, but most people don't understand, especially accountants, CPAs, and other tax planners, because they're very strategic, but at the same time, it's what the wealthy know and what the wealthy do, and often it's the uber wealthy. So that's the protecting part of it. But it's about making money, growing your money. And in fact, just today I got asked to come on to do another one of the weekly calls we do for all our members of Money Is. One of our staff reached out to me saying, hey, can we book you for June 20th, I think it was, for one of our weekly webinars that we provide to all of our members to talk about X or Y, or building a business, or scaling, or Broadway investing, or this or that. Like, we're always providing education and, you know, Q&A. Anyway, I digress. So Money is about making, growing, and protecting your money. Think Realty Mastermind is about, it's the same type of thing, but it's very specific about real estate, anything and everything in real estate, whether it's, you know, tax liens, buy and hold, fix and flip, short-term rentals, whatever it is. There's a lot of content and a lot of community. And the way those masterminds work is there's an annual membership fee, which is the revenue of those businesses, which obviously trickles down to our company here, Norada Capital being a 1/3 partner in all those ventures. So we control those ventures. They're private companies. We, you know, we have 1/3 of the equity, and we're entitled to 1/3 of the distributions as we kick distributions out of those businesses. And that's important for people listening to this webinar to understand, is that that revenue, those distributions are Norada Capital's revenue. Those are the inflows of capital that we use to service and pay off the notes. Which, as a side note, you know, these note investments are not going to be here for 10 years. You know, we will grow all of our businesses, our entire portfolio, to the point where the business is not only self-sustaining, but it now has profit to fund other and future ventures. So if someone's listening to this and they're on the fence and they're thinking, well, maybe I'll wait a year or two. Well, you know, this offering might not be here in a year or two.
Right.
You know, we'll constantly be shifting what we're doing, and we'll probably still have offerings, but it may not be the same or look the same, or be, you know, applied in the same way. But let's get back to the mastermind. So we have the Think Realty and the Money Is Mastermind. And this is all about, again, content, community. There's the members are assigned I don't know if we call them a coach, but a coach of sorts, that they communicate with every month. We have monthly, you know, education calls, like webinars and Zoom calls. We have weekly calls that are different topics every single week. We have 2 live events. Well, we actually have 4 live events here, but the members are entitled to go to any 2 anywhere in the country that they choose during the calendar year. And there's other value adds and content that goes along with it. We literally have a team in Florida building out the fulfillment. So they're responsible for creating content and fulfillment of what we are essentially offering people when they join these masterminds.
Love it.
So now, unless you have a question, I'll pause. I'll talk about the ascension model of how we get people to that 3rd tier, if you will.
Yeah, I just want to make one point. I think a lot of times people wonder, you know, in this industry, like in the world of accredited investments, when they see 12 to 15% interest payouts to our primary note holders, they wonder, well, how can we afford that? Well, when you look at the model of a live event or a mastermind group, right, it's quite high profit margins, right? So we're able to pay out that note accordingly based on the different businesses that we are investing in. And one of the things that masterminds typically do is they create higher yield type returns for business owners.
Yeah, that's true. That's a truth for you know, successful businesses, viable businesses, especially certain types of businesses that have high profit margins. And this is true for like online and e-commerce type businesses, or service-based businesses will typically have high margins.
Sure.
Last year, when we had the initial pro formas for Money Is and Think Realty, we had margins very close to 50%. So our net profit, our bottom line, was about 50% of our revenue. Now we've added revenue sources, additional revenue sources, unfound and unknown at the time, to our pro formas. But also at the same time, because of like ramp up costs and, launching and ramping up and getting things in place, we had a lot of fixed expenses, one-time expenses in the beginning. And so when you factor those in, our margin was closer to 45%, just kind of on a 12-month pro forma. But we'll still probably end up being close to 50%, which is pretty exceptional because the numbers that we are working on right now, over the next 12 months, we see about a $60 million top line revenue on both Think Realty and Money Is. So if you do the quick math in your head, that translates to roughly about 30 million bottom line in net profit on both the Money Is and as well as the Think Realty Mastermind.
Yeah.
So that's not an aggressive number. It's not ultra conservative, but it is a solid and realistic number based on what we are doing and what we're seeing. Sure. And that's unfolding as we speak.
Yeah,
now,
love it.
So I'll talk about the Ascension model unless you have another question there.
Nope, that's where I was going. I was going to say, okay, so we have this structure here. We have these two masterminds in place. How do we funnel clients into that?
Yeah, so this is more of a marketing question. And the way it happens is there's really just 3 steps. There's a concept known as top of the funnel in marketing, where you bring people in from the outside. Often it's cold traffic, they're people that you haven't been nurturing for a long time. But these are people we bring in to something, and in our case, it's an event called Aspire. And we refer to all of our Aspire events as the Aspire Tour. And for anybody who wants to go and look it up, the website is Aspire with an A, aspiretour.com. So I encourage everybody listening to this to go to aspiretour.com, see what we have there right now. It changes weekly. We're adding new venues and new dates. We're also building a new website, which we'll be launching, I think, in about a month's time, maybe sooner. I'm not exactly sure, but I know it's in the works. But Aspire Tour will show you the different dates in different cities around the country where we have large events. And so if you look at our last 2 events, which was Dallas and Fort Lauderdale, we had 2,000 paid ticket holders in Dallas that came to Aspire. Fort Lauderdale was 1,500 paid ticket holders that showed up, and that was literally the day after they had the record-setting torrential rains. That was a mini apocalypse. That we didn't think people, a lot of people were going to show up. Turns out almost every single ticket holder showed up, which was amazing.
Impressive. Yeah.
So our goal is to not only increase these Aspire events to about 3,000 paid ticket holders at an event. That's where we're getting to. But we're also building up to, in 2024, to have 2 Aspire events going on every month in 2 different cities at the same time, which means we're doubling our teams. Hence the reason for the capital raise and the expansion. We're growing these ventures and these businesses. But the people come in through this Aspire event, and it's a one-day event from 8 to 6 p.m. where we have incredible speakers that attend. And some of the people that we have at our events are people like Mr. Wonderful from Shark Tank, Kevin O'Leary. We have Magic Johnson. We have Marcus Lemonis from The Prophet on CNBC. Very, very well known and very, very well-liked person. He's one of our main cheerleaders, if you will. He loves what we're doing. He wants to see us succeed and grow. He's at our events. We've also had people like Jordan Belford, the real Wolf of Wall Street. And we've had Alex Rodriguez, A-Rod, at our events. So Kendra Scott, the lady who does skinny jeans and the skinny brands. I forgot her name, Bethany Crawford, Bethany something. I forgot her name. So we have incredible speakers that talk about everything from mindset. And actually, that's one of the great guys. There's a person, Nick Santonastaso. It's hard to pronounce his last name. He's the guy with no legs, no right arm, and has one left arm with one finger. And this guy is a rock star. He's so active. He plays sports, he works out, and he's an incredible motivational speaker. He kind of starts the day after my partner Eddie opens it up. But these are the types of people we have at these events. So it's everything about personal growth, financial growth, professional growth. There's a lot of content packed into this day. Everybody we poll, we survey everybody that leaves these events. Everybody always walks away saying they've got, many more times of the value of what they paid for their ticket, which starts at $47, by the way. So these are great events, and it helps people, from motivation to inspiration, aspiration, professional content. There's some tactical information in there, real estate related stuff, money movement stuff that my partner Andrew talks about, how to make money and grow money and protect it. It's kind of like a lead in to the masterminds, which is a segue into the next level. So at these Aspire events, people get tons of content. They get more than their money's worth, but we do talk to them about two potential options that they can buy into there. For roughly about $300, they can buy into a 2 or 3 day masterclass, one for Money Is, one for Think Realty. And that's more of a deeper dive, more tactical, boots on the ground, deeper level of education that they will attend usually within a week to 2 weeks after that Aspire event in that same local market. So that's the second level of this ascension model. They start with the Aspire event, the Aspire tour. Then they invest a nominal amount, like, let's call it, $300, $200-300 to a boot camp, which is a workshop. We call it a master class. So they buy into the master class. And then from the master class, they get a lot of education. It's really all education based. From there, we expose them to and talk to them about continuing their education and getting deeper into more content and community through the masterminds. So that's when we expose them to the Money Is Mastermind and the Think Realty Mastermind, which is a different, now we're talking about an annual membership, which is 12,000 or 15,000. And there's an upgrade for 2,000 to the 17,000 level. So, but that's the range, 12,000 to 17,000.
Sure.
And, what we write in business is very close to what we collect. Like our written business is very close to our collected business. Very few people cancel or back out. They're typically just one-time payment. Here's a credit card. Let's go. And so those are the three layers of these two, what I call educational masterminds, the Money Is and the Think Realty tracks. But it all starts with the Aspire events, which we're doing roughly about one a month, not necessarily every month, but we're building that out to be one a month and eventually 2 a month in different cities. And so like I said before, aspiretour.com will show you the different cities at any given time, the dates and the ability to buy tickets.
Yeah, I think what's also super exciting about something like this is people are kind of craving that right now. They're craving education, something new, maybe going after their own business, growing their current businesses. There's some uncertainty out there right now. Of course, as we know, we just got through a pandemic, and now we're moving into interesting interest rate hikes and things like that. So, I know events like this for certain types are huge and inspiring, and people take action. So.
Yeah, you're 100% right. Every time we talk to people at different events, not just these events, people are always asking questions and wanting to learn more about how do they make money? How do they grow their money? How can they start a business? How do I protect myself from inflation? How do I invest in real estate? How do I invest in promissory notes? Whatever it may be. There's always a need for this information. There always has been a need for financial information. And there's certainly a hunger, and we've been proving that because we're running ads and people are coming to our events, and they're high quality people too. It's not like they're tire kickers. These are people who come, they have money already, varying degrees. They look good, they dress well, they're clearly serious about what they're doing, where they're going, their financial future, what they want to achieve. Just at our last event, just to give you kind of I think quick example on the high end of things, We had at our last masterclass in Fort Lauderdale for the Money Is masterclass. Well, one of the attendees there, I didn't know this at the time, but he works for a pretty big company. He's I think he's a licensed financial advisor.
Mhm.
And I was staying at the hotel next to where we were hosting the event because we sold out of our room block. And won't mention his name, but he pulls up in a Ferrari, and in my conversations with him, he clearly has money, but he's looking to learn from us and my team. How do
Mhm.
we move money? How do I understand this money movement so I can grow my money better and faster and
Yeah.
protect it under the different types of structures and tax strategies that we teach? So he's already successful. It's not like, he's trying to start a business. The guy already makes a lot of money. And we have this wide range of people that attend these events, from, hey, I'm a newbie, I'm getting started, but I'm serious and I really want to learn and get on this track, to, hey, I'm already successful, but how do I level up? How do I get to that next level?
Yeah, it's a great point that it's open to all levels, right? There's a variety and a range of people, from business owners to maybe people who are just starting their own business. So
Mhm.
I think it's fantastic, and
Yeah.
I hope this helps some of our investors understand. Hey, this is what you're supporting it, right? When you're putting money into Norada Capital, you're supporting the growth of financial education, real estate education, business growth, tax education, et cetera, right? I think it's important for them to know.
Yeah. And, if I think a good place to, kind of tie a bow around today's webinar, unless you have, some other questions, but, just as a reminder of kind of the big picture, when you step back from everything that we're doing, in these different ecosystems of businesses, and Norada Capital plays a big part in all of this, is to kind of remind people that the big picture is, the give back, the philanthropy part of it.
Yeah.
So my partner Eddie is very much into nonprofits and charitables, and he's been involved in that for over 15 years. He's always been giving back, to needy children in third world countries and stuff. So what we're building out now is to kind of level up what he's already been doing for 15 years, is something we call Impact Others. And the website there is impactothers.com. And again, I encourage people to go there. You can even make a donation if you want from that website. But ultimately, we want to create this big endowment fund that lives forever. And the profit from that endowment fund goes to feed tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of needy children, emphasis on the word needy, but to educate them, feed them, and provide clean water. And we're doing this actively now in countries like Honduras, Pakistan, India, and several others. So that's kind of like stepping back and looking at the bigger picture, the more of the why, because
Mhm.
we could build $1 billion empire. We can build all these businesses and have $1 billion worth of companies, but what are you going to do with it all? So
Yeah.
at some point, we know that with all of our what we call the collective influence companies, 10% of the profits are funneled towards Impact Others.
Beautiful. Yeah, it's obviously having a big why is important, and you know there are less fortunate out there, and having the ability to create wealth but also distribute that is massive.
Mhm.
So I appreciate you sharing that, Marco. And
Yeah.
I guess to wrap things up today as well, if you guys have, or you out there listening have a want to learn more about Norada Capital, feel free to go to our website, noradacapital.com. You can book an appointment. You can talk to me, Michael, someone on our team. Am I missing anybody, Marco?
No, just if you're assigned an investment counselor, just continue the conversation with them. And if you don't have an investment counselor, just simply go to the website at noradacapital.com and fill out the form, and you'll hear from somebody very quick. You'll get assigned to somebody, and we'll get on the phone and in the email and answer questions for you.
All right, perfect. Well, thanks for joining us today, Marco. As always, thank you. And until next time, be well.
Thanks, Nate.
Thanks, Marco.